Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Fred, and thanks for tuning in today. I have a really important topic to talk about today that each and every one of us knows is important, but frankly, we don't talk about it enough. And in order to talk about it, we actually have to utilize it. So that's what makes it difficult to talk about. And the idea here is at the heart of all healing. And I have learned this throughout my whole life. I am a doctor and I've been a healer pretty much since I arrived here on earth. And, the opportunity was there for me to heal my family when I first arrived. I think I did a pretty good job with that in my first couple years. I'm not sure about everything since then, but, that's a different story. And what I have learned going all the way back to little Freddie in my playpen is that at the heart of all healing is human connection. And what I mean by human connection is that at least two people connecting in such a way that each or at least one of the people feel entirely heard and seen. So human connection can happen in one direction as well. So one person can feel heard and seen by another person, and that's called a connection. A human connection that works in both directions is a little bit more elaborate and a little bit less frequent, but is also true. And we all know what that experience is because when we connect exquisitely with another person, we often equate that experience with something called love. Like, don't you know that when someone's connected to you at the heart of the matter, when someone's actually connected to your soul, when someone actually gets you in a way that other people don't, when someone sees you or hears you or can actually understand or um, relate to you in a way that is consistent with how you know yourself to be, there's a sense of being connected to. And what I have learned over time is that sense of being connected to is at the heart of all healing. Now, we talk a lot about the medical advances that have taken place in the last several decades, and I don't mean to downplay any of them. People are indeed living longer, though it's not clear that they're living more connected. One of the ideas here is that living longer, a life that is disconnected with other people, may not be as valuable as we think it is. So, living a long time disconnected with others may not be the gift that we think it is. Having a long life disconnected is like what Henry David Thoreau says, that most men, go through life in quiet desperation and go to their graves with their songs still in them. And that's something that I simply can't tolerate. The idea here is that it's very important to connect to others. And when we do connect with others, we create the source for all healing. And I do mean all. Now, many of you know that I am a psychiatrist, and I've been a psychiatrist for over 3 decades, and I've been in mental health, the field, for over 4 decades. And it isn't where I learned that connection was at the heart of healing. I actually learned that as a child. And I think each and every one of us knows that. Like when I was hurting as a child, or frankly, when I was feeling lonely, or frankly, whenever I sought another human out, whether it be my family or my mother, or whether it be friends or whether colleagues or teachers or other students at school, what I was looking for more than anything was human connection. And once we connect, there's a spectacular experience of being grounded, of having our soul massaged, of being actually present, of being given a reason to live. In other words, being given a priority, like somebody actually took their time to connect with me, is one of the most exquisite experiences that life has to offer. And what I'm saying is much of what the psychiatric industry calls psychiatric illness is actually a function of disconnection between people. So, a lot of times, what would actually cure or heal another person is just connecting with them. What do I mean by connecting? I mean connecting at a very real root core level, meaning that you are there with another person and that they feel that you're there and know that you're listening and seeing them for who they really are. Now, You might know as I say this that this is beautiful when it happens to you, but you might have second guesses about whether or not that's all that's needed for healing. I'm suggesting that it is the primary, if not the only component that's necessary for true human healing. Each and every person wants nothing more than to be heard and seen for who they really are. I know I've said that in different ways already a few times in this podcast, but what I really want you to see is that includes you. And it also is really important to see that you don't need a degree of any sort. You don't need to be a counselor or a mentor or a chaplain or a priest or a doctor or a psychologist or a social worker in order to connect with another person. So you have all the skill set necessary to be an exquisite healer. And all you really have to do is connect with that person over there. I invite you to do your very best to connect to the next person you are with. Now, you don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to be aligned with them. You don't have to want to marry them. You don't have to even want to be friends with them. But I invite you to connect with them. And that is, for some people, that is a little bit daunting, a little bit challenging, maybe even a little bit threatening. What I'm suggesting, though, again, is that healing the world is going to come when we actually connect with other people. It's really important to connect with other people. That's important for us as people, and it's important for the people that we're connecting to. I know for me that any kind of symptoms, or you should say maybe the uncomfortable nature of what it means to be alive gets alleviated and frequently disappears when I'm connected to another person. And one of the ways we connect is we be of service to other people. What do I mean of service? What I mean of service is helping anybody do anything. And it really means that. It doesn't mean necessarily having to work in a nursing home or work in, volunteer in a hospital. It means really helping anybody do anything. And when we do that, is a beautiful thing that us humans as tribal creatures get to create with each other. I have found in many of my psychiatric patients, or many of the people that have come in my way as a coach, or many of my friends, colleagues, and mentors, that when we connect, there's a terrific experience of healing that takes place. Ultimately, that's what we're here to do. We're here to heal this world. It's a very challenging world right now. It's not getting less challenging in the next several days or next several weeks, months, or even years. And so, how do we heal? I think the core method for healing is by connecting with each other. Let's talk a little bit about what the last few years has done with that. In the last few years, we have unfortunately been asked to disconnect from each other, and it has created a massive divide in many different areas. There are areas of life where we don't even connect with our siblings or don't connect with friends or family because they disagree with us about particular fundamental issues. This is really tragic, of course, because connection is available whether or not you agree with what someone has to say about a particular topic. And in that connection, you can decrease the strain between people and actually create a healing environment. So, yes, massaging the soul of another person by actually connecting with them becomes an available option for each and every one of us. So, you are a healer. And one of the people that you really need to connect with in order to connect with others is, of course, yourself. We have also frequently, many of us, lost our capacity or decreased our capacity to connect with ourselves. What do I mean by that? Who are you at the core? Who are you at your center? Who are you in the heart of the matter, the genuine, authentic self that you really are? We have often learned how to become someone that we're not in order to protect that person that we are. And that, of course, is absurd and ludicrous and preposterous and simply doesn't work. We have thought that by being who we are, we could get hurt, and we are afraid to step up and be who we are. So frequently we find ourselves actually saying things that even we don't believe, or becoming a person that we are not aligned with, a duplicitous person. I have certainly had that experience, and I have worked hard to eliminate that from my life. I'm a little bit better now at being aligned with who I really am, though it appears to be life's work. Because ultimately, as a child, there was a crack in the cement when we learned how to be someone that we were not in order to meet the grade, or in order to stay on the team, or in order to stay, belonging. And then the crack in the cement has grown over the years, and we haven't taken time to actually repair it. So I'm asking you now, where are you pretending to be someone that you're not in order to protect the person that you are? And can you connect with yourself at a higher level? The more connecting with yourself that you do, the more you become a cleaner, resonating tuning fork for another person. When you are connected with yourself, you become much more available to connect with others at a human level, because you are being human and you're connecting with their human frequency. This level of healing cannot be overstated. It's way more effective than any medication that any psychiatric laboratory has ever put together, and way more effective than any medical intervention that I've ever heard of. So go ahead, be someone who connects, and leave yourself open to be connected to, and feel that experience and realize that connection is what is at the heart of all healing. And healing um, often gets called love. And in this case, there is some love involved for us, our human race, and each and every one of us together. Thank you so much for listening to this important commentary on what it means to be a human and what is necessary to heal the world one person at a time. Go ahead, connect with another person and see what happens. It's not very risky, it's beautiful, and it leaves healing for both you and that person. Best of luck. Thanks for listening. And it's Dr. Fred. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.